This is not what you're prepared for. The price of XRP Ripple coin could reach $3,000 in a few days, according to cryptocurrency analysts. Although that sounds absurd, they provide facts to support it. It is anticipated that Ripple would shortly prevail in its legal battle against the SEC, and that might be the greatest bullish indicator ever. Let's dissect it in detail. This video will wow you. Let's get right to the point without further ado. Disclaimer: the long-running legal dispute between the SEC and Ripple Labs is finally coming to a head. The fate of XRP, the token at the center of Ripple's payments network, has been closely monitored by the cryptocurrency community for almost 4 years, as it has come to represent the broader struggle for regulatory clarity in the digital asset field. A final resolution now appears closer than ever, with significant procedural changes under process and important deadlines approaching. Edo Farina, a cryptocurrency analyst, summed it up in a tweet. With the SEC litigation formally concluded, here is what lies ahead for XRP. Even though the legal dust hasn't cleared completely, every indication points to the case's imminent conclusion. One that might have long-term effects on the whole cryptocurrency industry, not just Ripple. The SEC has to provide the U.S. Court of Appeals with a status update on June 16th, which is a crucial date. A 60-day window that resulted from previous hearings in which unresolved concerns were highlighted for potential appellate review ends with this deadline. Bill Morgan, a legal expert who has been following the issue closely, stressed that this update may indicate if the SEC plans to pursue its appeal further or discontinue the case. The procedures necessary to legally close the matter may be triggered if the SEC does make further filings, or if Ripple replies with more documentation. However, neither party's silence could indicate that an informal truce is developing behind the scenes. The most recent events come after the SEC and Ripple's combined request for an indicative ruling was denied. In essence, before formally bringing the case back to her courtroom from the appeal level, the two parties wanted Judge Annalisa Torres to express her opinion on a particular matter, whether or not she would be ready to lift a long-standing injunction. Judge Torres, however, turned down that request, claiming that there were procedural errors in it. Therefore, if the parties choose to proceed down that line, any new request needs to be properly structured and refiled. This procedural dance has serious consequences. A settlement might allow for a large money redistribution, with the remaining escrowed assets going back to Ripple and $50 million going to the SEC. Such a change might affect XRP's liquidity in important markets and restore Ripple's complete financial flexibility. A lengthy filing from a third party suddenly surfaced on the court docket, adding even more suspense. The SEC's application of the Howey test, the legal standard used to decide whether an asset is a security, was questioned in this surprising document. The brief casts doubt on the idea of investment contracts as they relate to decentralized cryptocurrencies, which is at the heart of the SEC's case. It emphasizes the larger public interest and legal concerns surrounding this case, even though it is unlikely to change the outcome. Financial authorities, legal experts, and the crypto community are all keeping an eye on things. Furthermore, many are wondering if the rules that governed investment programs in the 1940s now apply to blockchain technology in the 21st century. In the meantime, the industry as a whole is still gaining momentum. Another well-known figure in the XRP community, Jack the Rippler, recently tweeted that the SEC will hold its last roundtable on cryptocurrency to talk about DeFi on June 9th. Crypto is here to stay. Many people can relate to the sentiment. The crypto revolution isn't waiting around, regardless of the outcome of the legal proceedings. The verdict in this court battle might set precedents that extend well beyond Ripple's headquarters. The Commission's larger effort to designate cryptocurrency assets as securities would be weakened if the SEC backs off or if the courts decide in favor of Ripple once more. The regulatory environment would drastically change as a result, including how developers organize decentralized apps, how exchanges list assets, and how new tokens are introduced. Naturally, in anticipation of Ripple's triumph, cryptocurrency specialists are making the most audacious forecasts. Not just XRP holders are experiencing the highest level of tension in history. The entire cryptocurrency business might see a tidal wave if Ripple prevails. We're discussing the rapid rise of XRP, the revision of new rules, and the hasty repositioning of significant stakeholders. The whole cryptocurrency community is waiting. What are these audacious predictions, then? You need to hear this because some of them will truly blow your head. Important voices in the XRP community are tweeting about a sentiment that is exploding into excitement. Crypto Sensei did a fantastic job at capturing the diamond-handed mindset. If you have never sold your XRP, you should read this post. It's evident that many didn't. According to Emonix, not when panic sellers were being shook out. And most definitely not right now, when individuals like Steph are boldly announcing that XRP is going to blow up. For a lot of believers, this is the last build-up before takeoff. When predicting a 40,000% spike in XRP on the day the dispute is finally settled, Ripple Pumpkin didn't hold back, calling it a huge green candle approaching. That's the kind of explosive optimism that's increasingly prevalent as utility keeps increasing and legal clarity approaches. To some, it may seem crazy, even insane. But keep in mind that XRP has already accomplished the seemingly unachievable. Early on, XRP was worth pennies, but during the 2017 bull run, it reached a peak of nearly $3. That's the reason the recent post from XRP Dragon created such a stir. He maintained that even while a similar jump from 3,000 to 3,000 is substantial, it shouldn't be completely disregarded. That would be a gain of 99,900%. What could XRP accomplish now with real adoption, utility, and clarity, he suggested, if it could accomplish that once on speculation? Of course, not everyone believes that a parabolic ascent like that can happen again. Critics point out that the current market, which is more mature, congested, and regulated, presents significant challenges, and that the first price discovery of XRP occurred in an environment with minimal liquidity. Others, pointing to XRP's growth pattern during its actual breakout phase beginning around $0.02, suggest that $300 would be a more reasonable upper bound. However, as XRP Avengers predicted, such numbers, even if they are 50x from the current levels, would still have a profound impact on long-term holders. Then there are the predictions that are really on the next level. XRP to $500, claims Levi, another voice in the XRP area. Even though that might seem absurd to some, it connects to more in-depth conversations on XRP's possible contribution to international payments, particularly its potential incorporation into digital money systems run by central banks. Demand might influence price behavior in ways the market has never seen before if XRP were to establish itself as a fundamental bridge asset for CBDCs operating internationally. And all of these projections are based on it. Hope, not just hype. I hope that the years of legal disputes, infrastructure development, and international collaborations will eventually pay off for Ripple. Hopefully, utility will triumph over conjecture. Hope it was worthwhile to weather the storm. Therefore, even though some of the figures, 40,000%, 99,900%, and even $10,000, might seem ludicrous, they aren't just pipe dreams. They are declarations of faith in a project that has withstood more criticism, pressure, and examination than nearly any other cryptocurrency. XRP's tale is far from over, as the SEC's lawsuit is almost over. June 16th is a crucial date for legal updates, and the market is keeping a close eye on the company.